Republican Senator Joni Ernst of Iowa, thank you for being on the program today.
Thank you, Harris.
This has to be so frustrating for you just as a lawmaker because you have been fighting this very type of thing with Sarah's Law. What's the latest?
Yes, and we introduced Sarah's Law with a number of co-sponsors in the 114th Congress. We've reintroduced it again in this Congress, but still no traction there. And what Sarah's Law would require ICE to do is detain those illegal immigrants if they have harmed or maimed or killed American citizens. And it would also require then ICE to make sure they are updating the family as to the status of the case. And it seems so simple and straightforward, and yet we haven't received the traction. The loss of Molly Tibbetts has hurt many Iowans so very deeply, and it captivated the imagination and concerns of an entire United States. And to have it end like this is very, very disheartening.
You know, it's being reported, and I just talked with our reporter there locally, Matt Finn. He's going to try to track it down because we need to confirm the details, that possibly the e-verification system, that the government background check did not scoop up and reveal what it should have because he passed it, according to his employer, the Yerby Farms. And not only that, yes, he was here illegally for up to 7 years.
And what I understand is that he had been an employee in good standing for 4 years, and somehow he did make it through that E-Verify system. The farm has said that they do use the E-Verify system, but just like with any other system, Harris, if you have false documents, you can certainly squeeze your way through a system. So perhaps that needs to be tied to biometrics as well.
Oh, interesting. And of course, you know, we've had this big national discussion now about ICE. And I hear you bring up ICE again as part of the solution. And where would we be if people like suspect Rivera were roaming with no check? At least we have some check right now. Part of Sarah's Law, you said, is a mandatory detention process and a notification. And ICE plays a role in that.
ICE does play a role in that. And I am going to give a shout out to the folks that work for ICE because we need them. If we are planning on safeguarding our American homeland, we need to be able to protect against gang members that are coming in from other countries. We need to be able to protect against human trafficking that happens over our borders every day. We need to stop the gun runners from bringing their goods in from other countries. There are so many things that we need ICE to do, and I can't imagine all of these other lawmakers from the other side of the aisle that are demanding the abolishment of it.
Well, and I'm looking at my notes here too. We were talking about Sarah's Law and where it is. It goes to the Judiciary Committee now, and we just had a couple of House members on, so I know that these topics are heated on the Hill, and it can be kind of tough. But you've been going since January 2017 with this, and so hopefully there'll be some movement in your journey with Sarah's Law. You know, I want to talk just real quickly about the particulars with Rivera. A judge set bond at $50,000. A relative then, excuse me, not Rivera, but in the Sarah Root case that the law was named after. After she was killed, the judge set bond at $50,000. A relative met the $5,000 or 10%, and he hasn't been seen since. So Sarah's Law is based on now a fugitive case.
Yes, Edwin Mejia basically ditched the country. He was allowed to do that, and he was probably long gone out of the country before Sarah had even been laid to rest. So we have got to correct this issue. Sarah's Law would be an important part of that. It's why we need to get it passed. Now, the president in January of 2017, he did sign an executive order which implements a number of pieces of Sarah's Law, but we need to have it codified. Congress needs to act.
All right. And it begs the question, as you were just asking, about who implements this and where the politics are around the group known as ICE. Senator Ernst of the great state of Iowa, I'm sorry that it was for these circumstances, but thank you for catching us up on the journey there in your state.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you.